my slides, right? Slides are working. All right, do take pictures. Picture time, as many pictures as you want so I can prove to my family that I have been here. Thank you. All right, let's start this thing off. This is a hard one for me, but namaskar, doston. All right. Cool. So, I'm here to tell you a story about why real-time matters and until it really doesn't, basically. It's safe to say that we live in a fast and paced world these time of days, and we get multiple emails a day. We need to respond to them as quickly as possible. We get multiple phone calls and have to do multiple phone calls ourselves as well. A lot of direct messages, constant deviation of attention, and we have a lot of chatbots right now as well. So it's safe to say that everything is real time these days. We live in an age of real-time web. But sometimes we need to slow down. That said, my name is Bert. I'm a developer founder at Vulpo. Vulpo is a digital studio based back in Belgium. That's far from here, but we do the same thing basically. We specialize in software development, AI integrations, we do rescue projects, we do consultancy and infrastructure and hosting. And we also help other development teams build their projects with confidence, so if you need any assistance with one of these little logos, feel free to get in touch. I also have this thing called the YouTube channel, so there is a subscribe button. Do click that. And I also have merch. I also have this little thing, a package to validate VAT numbers, and well, I'm very proud of that. 100,000 downloads. Yes. So basically Spasi, I don't work as Spasi by the way, so Spasi, watch out, I'm coming. But to be honest, Freek and I are good friends, so it's a joke, he knows that. And at Vulpo, we love using Spasi packages as well. And I like to be out there in the wild. I like to play dog frisbee. My dog is unfortunately retired now, but we toured the whole of Europe playing that little game, and we're quite good at it. I also love to swim, ride my bike, and run, and I do triathlons. But what I love the most is hanging out with my family, and it's thanks to my girlfriend that I'm able to be here, so give her a big hand. Who remembers Bob? Yes, quite some. Last year I gave a talk here in Ahmedabad about going from manual web to websites and applications with polling, and eventually to WebSockets with reverb. But as cool as that is, there is no holy grail in the whole of this story. And why is that? Well, it depends on every project. And it's safe to say that we need to take care about user feedback. That's very important. We need to make sure that we have engagement with our user. We provide clarity for that user in the applications that we build. And it's all about speed nowadays as well. And I came up, and I did this animation myself, and I'm pretty proud of it as well. I came up with a decision matrix to determine which path we should choose for that. And that's based off of 3 simple questions. The first one, is the user actively waiting for a response from us? Second one, how fresh does that data need to be? Are we fine with 5-minute-old data or 1-hour-old data? That really impacts the way we treat our applications. And is the data expensive? How expensive is that to not only query from the database, pre-process, ship out, and render on the front end? How expensive is that process? And that is impacting basically the direction that we want to go, and based off of that we can make a decision, and we can choose which exit, just like a roundabout. But here in India, that's quite different from where I live. All right, the common mistakes that we see in applications that we rescue are basically 0 user feedback, or timeouts. I think 80% of the projects that we get into are those 2 things that we see going wrong. And I will show you what I really mean. And that's not me, by the way. All right. So I have this little demo application. I have a monthly generated report, and I will go for simple right now because it's generating 15 reports and I have a sleep in there, but I clicked already the button and nothing really happens at this moment. So the user is waiting and wondering, is something happening? And this is one of those cases that we see a lot that is going wrong. In this case, there it is, it's completed, it did 15 analysis runs, but these are 15 seconds. Imagine you have 60 or 100 runs to do. Well, this page would actually time out, and that's not that cool. Imagine if you want to create a new user, actually a new employee. Let's say we onboard Bert as a user. We hit go, and nothing happens. It's basically the same thing, but in the background a lot of stuff is going on, but we can't see that. And we get called in for those kind of things a lot. All right, so how do we solve this? The main thing that we implement at Vulpo to protect ourselves from this are queues. We queue up almost everything at our company. But what about multiple tasks? We can do creating a user, but we can also need to purchase some stuff for them, make credentials on other services and stuff like that. If we can do this for multiple users at the same time, well, we have two options. First, we can actually batch all those jobs. So if you imagine you need to do 100 equal things, you just batch them up in parallel. Or you could chain them. If you have like the onboarding of that user would be create that user, then chain the job to create their account, chain the job to create their wallet, and chain other jobs on top of that. I have a little example of that. If I create a new user, this would be my ideal job cycle. Just a chain with create account, create wallet, issue the business cards, and we use Revolut for that. Create a request for devices, basically purchasing laptops and stuff, and then sending out the notifications for them. Let me show you the effect if we implement that. First of all, I have a little note for myself to actually start off a few things here. So that's the queue work. I also have a schedule in the background to check stuff. And I have reverb. All right, that's it. Cool. So if I were to actually generate that report again, I now have the status is new, that job gets picked up, and now we can see the jobs actually incrementing. I can easily go to another page, go back, and we can see that still is processing while we did some other stuff while we were away. In the first example, this would have been just, on the fly, and if we navigate to another page, it would have stopped. Same thing with onboarding that user. If I create a new employee called Bert, I can see the process is booting, and I can see every job that is done already, and I can give feedback to my user of what we are actually doing. And that is a big difference for the user with actually almost nothing of effort from our side. All right. I think this is very nice if you can implement that with almost no effort and that outcome. So we provided user feedback, we provided clarity, but tread carefully with this. This is okay for small jobs like I showcased here, but what about mobile? What about stuff on cellular networks? What about low battery life? And what about CPU usage, not only on the user side, but also on the backend side? We could do slower polling, which is very easily done with Livewire. Just add .10 seconds or .30 seconds after that. We can do conditional polling, but what with view throttling, that's a very important one. You can do .visible and it will only update when, or actually poll when it's in the viewport. And what about WebSockets? This is one of my favorites. I emphasized that last year as well. WebSockets are really amazing. we can do a lot of stuff as well. We can do conditional dispatches. We can do throttling and batching of notifications and dispatches as well. And we can do a socket pause if it's needed to. So let me show you what I mean by that. It never gets old, right? The guy dancing on his hands. I wish I could do that. All right, so I need the network tab, there we go. So now I have a lot of divs with nothing in it. And I have one div with polling. And once that is entered the viewport, it starts polling and fetching the backend every 2 seconds or 2.5 seconds. And that's pretty cool. And if I scroll back up and it's out of the viewport, that updating stops. So we aren't updating unnecessarily. And that's a quite cool improvement, in my opinion. All right. I also have conditional dispatched ready for you. So if I do a new product like a shoe, I hit the shoe into the stock sale, and normally I have a backend job, is selling out products, and I only send out notifications whenever the stock status changes. So whenever one sale is done, nothing happens, but only if the stock status changes. In this case, in a normal implementation, we would have, if I have 100 shoes, I would have 100 reverb calls. In this case, I only had 5. Only once every time the stock status changes. And that's something very small you can implement to prevent too many dispatches over reverb towards your front end. And this is an example of traffic. We had this issue with a charging network of electric vehicles, and we needed to count every time someone started a transaction to charge their vehicle. But in Belgium, we are monitoring not only Belgium, but the whole of Europe. That's a lot of transactions. And we wanted to put that in a graph for stakeholders. So what basically happened was we had a counter called charges, and it started counting stuff. Need to wait until, this is with a scheduled job who fires off the event, start counting. But if we check this, these are a lot of requests coming in to render every time the count changes. The problem here was that the front end, who was generating a graph, couldn't keep up. And that was really, really a big problem. So we introduced throttling in that case, and basically what this does is sets up a cache layer. I will show you directly what that does in code, and it caches the output for 2 seconds. So it counts in the backend, but only dispatches every 2 seconds with the recent updated status. This way, the graph had the time to re-render, and everything went smoothly afterwards. In code, this looks like simply this. Broadcast lock of 2 seconds, a dispatch in between and a return true, and that's it. Simple as that. Keynote, there we go. All right, so we have no more unnecessary updates, and I think this is pretty nice. We save a lot of stuff. We still have real time, which is important, and we have fewer DOM updates, logical. And we saved a lot of battery power and also CPU usage, which results in longer lifespan of both. And I think this is the perfect emoji for this. I think this is wonderful. Thank you. But what about, I need to talk about it, everyone does nowadays, AI. And it normally is without dots, I'm very sorry. Well, in that case, it depends on the use case that you're trying to build. For instance, streaming responses, real time, no doubt. Just throw out what you have and re-render as soon as possible. But we do a lot of AI integrations with calculations on a queue, and we can deal with it later. Let me show you what I mean. It's good for my step counts. All right. Let's go. So, this is the AI assistant. I can ask it, what do you know about Whoa, I can't type. Oh my god, let me restart here. What do you know about Laracon India? And this thing is, whoops, giving a response in real time in a stream, and then we encapsulate it into a message on that chat. How does that really work? Let me show you in PHP Storm. I'm not sponsored, but I'm using it. So if they're watching, I'm open. Okay, so I have this div here, wire stream response, which basically catches everything that is done in here. So I have this, is this readable for you guys, by the way? All right. I have this function send message that is taking a user prompt, and we're storing that into a message array, and we're displaying that on the front end. And I'm dispatching a must ask AI. I wasn't very creative at that moment, but then I use an on attribute. So this dispatch thing never leaves this file, basically, which fires up a function talk to AI. And I'm using Prism under the hood with Anthropic and Claude Sonnet, which is implementing my user prompt as a stream. So this is very, very important as stream. And then I have a for each of that stream, which takes every chunk. And if that chunk is actually a delta text event, I can chain that, and my cursor is in front of it, I'm very sorry. I can chain that to my streaming response. And whenever that happens, it re-renders the page instantly. And if the response is done, we basically add it to the array, remove the streaming response, and re-render the whole stuff. And you can easily see that with a gentle thing in normally. If I ask something, who is Taylor Otwell? I don't know. You can see there is no background. I did this intentionally to show you guys. And once the stream is done, the background appears because it is no longer a stream, it is one of the array items that is fetched in. Another example of AI, this is done completely without real-timeness. This is my personal training assistant. I used to pay a lot for coaches, and now I don't because I have AI. And this one is suggesting workouts for me. I can choose run or ride my bike. And this is based off of my previous workouts, my previous suggestions, and whatever I did in between. So I think this is pretty nice. Hey, no, I need Keynote. All right. Cool, so we have streaming responses, which are awesome. And we also we can do that with wire stream, of course. But do note, we need that text delta event, otherwise you will mess up. All right. We also have the calculations on a webhook, like the Strava thing. I will show that in a second, but those are available for later whenever we have time. For instance, if I go for a run, I use this little watch over here, and that watch has a stop button. So I click that stop button, my workout gets uploaded to Strava, and in the meanwhile, I go for a little drink, water. This is an image of milk, I couldn't find water. There is a webhook who actually calls Laravel, hey, I have this new workout for this user, here is the workout. And that actually combines all my previous workouts, all my previous suggestions, and yes, he gets mad at me if I don't follow his suggestions. I prompted a bit too smart for that. We're using Claude to implement a new workout for me, for whenever I have time. And by that time, I am basically hitting the shower. So I still have time. That comes back, and we have a new workout scheduled. We have an analytic thing done for my own statistics, and I have a workout scheduled for the next time when I have time. And it sends out a notification via email, hey, Bert, here is your new workout suggestion. By that time, I'm still in the shower. And a few minutes later, when I finally get the energy back to put on my clothes, then I take out my phone and see what I did and what are my workouts for next time. And it's been a while. But yeah, that's how that works. And I think this is awesome. But there are some recent changes as well. And I'm very, very excited for those changes. So we need to thank Caleb for that. But we now have Livewire 4. Come on. Yeah. Yes. Livewire 4 brings a lot of new features. which will really help this real-time and energy consumption stuff for the real-timeness for the better, basically. We now have the decision matrix is drastically updated after the release of Livewire 4. We basically have placeholders. We can tell the user, wait, we're doing something for you, just hold on. We have islands, which enable us to isolate stuff. I think the wording is really nice. Isolate stuff in an island. Awesome. That doesn't have effect on the other items in your DOM element, of your website. And we have persist. And I really like this one. You can load in a bunch of data and keep it persistent over the pages that are following next or previous onto your navigation. And I have also a demo application of that. All right, so the placeholder are basically, in this example, 3 dots. There's a sleep in there, and once the mount function is done mounting all the stuff, you have, hey, here goes all the data. Pretty simple, yeah. I hope I have the code here somewhere. It should be here. No, this is not the one. Yes, here it is. So basically, where is it? Yeah, this is you need to use the lazy property for that. And come on, where are you? Here it is. So I have the sleep in my mount function, which is basically sleeping for 2 seconds. And then we can just easily use this placeholder directive, which is bouncing up and down 3 dots with tailwind. I'm not going to dive into tailwind. That's not my cup of tea. But and once the mount function is done, the placeholder is removed, and we can render out all the rest of the page, which is pretty nice. All right, islands. I have 4 divs, and only div 2 has a wire poll of 5 seconds, and this happens. It re-renders. Everything turns white, because after the wire poll, the background changes to white. So everything was updated only while I needed to update div number 2. If I go to the example with islands, need to wait 5 seconds, and then boom, only div number 2 gets re-rendered, and all the rest, with all those gigabytes, kilobytes of data, remains the same. I think this is pretty nice. Persistence, one of my favorites, actually. We can persist stuff. If I click the counter here, normally if I go to another page, this counter would be back to 0. But now I can, on the second page, also count on top of that. And back to this one. And I have another example. And I think this one will make it a little bit more clear. If I do this in my sidebar, I have a video of myself. And if I go to other pages, that video keeps on playing without any interference. You can do a lot of stuff with this. Imagine you have the combination of placeholder and persist. You load a bunch of data, which is in a sidebar, and you can just easily navigate throughout other pages, and that still keeps working. Do note, you need to have the persist with the same key. If you would change, and I will show that with this one, the clicker, and if I add a 2 here, then we're back to square with 0 with no persistence of that element. All right. I think this cable is dangerous. I think the future is here, basically, and it's awesome. And we need to, I should have taken a plane, but to emphasize, you should hop on the plane, but it's hard with a rocket. So the future is here, and it's awesome, and I can't wait to do other stuff with it. So do keep in mind those 3 simple questions. Is the user actively waiting? How fresh does that data need to be? And how expensive is that data to render? Those 3 questions, and you can navigate the landscape of real-timeness. And I come from this place. Any guess? Ghent. It's same. Brussels is only 60 kilometers away. But in Ghent we have something awesome. It's called the Gentse Fieste, which is basically 10 days of partying, drinking, eating, and yeah, doing that over and over. But we have something else that's quite amazing. I have a meetup group together with Freek and Elian. We're organizing every 2 months on the last Wednesday of the month. So if you're ever in the neighborhood of Ghent in Belgium, feel free to hop in or give a talk. All right. By the end of this talk, that channel is still there. That button is also still there, so much appreciated. And that is an easier way to get to that channel. So thank you.
Thank you.
Vishal.
Kevu Rahyu, that means how was it?
Kiura who?
I asked you, Kevu Rahyu. Repeat it.
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
So then give an answer. Saru Rahyu.
Saru Rahyu?
Yeah, say Saru Rahyu.
Saru Rahyu.
Tame.
Tame.
Loko.
Loko.
Suta Nathi.
Sutanati.
Yep. That's like the spirit. So for you, fill in the blank. So should we start?
Sure.
Perfect. Light barabar hai, Bhavdeep? Okay, perfect. So let's start with first question. The biggest lesson my career has taught me so far is
Don't be afraid to fail.
don't be afraid to fail. Perfect. Right answer. Second, one belief I had early on that later completely changed was.
Don't think you need to build everything yourself.
Yeah. Believe in teamwork.
Yeah.
See the clap?
Cool.
Wow, they like the answers. Third, if I were starting my journey again today, I would focus more on
Social skills.
social skills. Fourth, the hardest decision I have had to make in my career was.
Ooh.
Ooh.
The first time I ever said no to a client, basically.
Okay, so my
Yeah.
career was saying no.
Yeah.
Nice. Fifth, one thing I wish more people understood about building things together is
Documentation internally.
documentation internally.
Yeah.
Perfect. Sixth, so we can do clap together. What is protocol? Either we do it together or we don't do it. So we'll do it at the span of 3 questions in case if you like it. See, they love it. Sixth, living and working in Europe has changed my perspective on.
Culture differences and food, basically.
Oh, culture differences in food.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is amazing.
Which is amazing. What's your favorite dish?
My favorite dish is pizza at the moment.
Pizza. Favorite topping?
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms.
Yeah.
How many of you don't like mushrooms?
Oh! You're serious?
See, I know what to ask. And how many of you love Bert? See?
Thank you. That's awesome.
So one way they don't like mushroom, but other way they love you. So in a local language we say it bulati hai magar jane ka nahi. Seventh, something Belgium has taught me about the work or life is.
That's a very strange question.
Yeah, the question remains something like something based on the country or the vibes, the feeling.
It's not only the hardest worker that gets rewarded the most.
Okay,
basically.
hard it will get rewards the most.
Work
Perfect.
smart.
Work smart, yep.
Yeah.
For us, when you say Belgium, fill in the blank में पीछे क्या आता है? What comes next? Belgium? Belgium? Belgium waffles is the famous place where the
waffles.
girls go the most.
Okay.
And then they have that Belgium chocolate and they take selfie and put it on story.
Okay.
So it looks cool.
You should try the fries though.
Fries?
Oh yeah.
They're good. 8. The biggest shift in my thinking over the years came from
Losing a loved one and spending more time with my family.
Nice. Ninth, what still motivates me to keep the learning and sharing is?
If I can relate to Laravel stuff.
Anything.
Anything.
It's about
Well,
life.
the more I learn and share stuff, the more respect and the more the community like responds to that, and I really love that. That the community is like learning from each other and sharing each other's knowledge and pushing each other to another level. And I really, really
so
love that.
lift him up.
Yeah.
And the last question. One thing I'll never forget about Laracon India is
The dancing.
dancing. So you're gonna dance tonight?
I think so, yeah.
You like dancing and you say, I think that is not
Yeah,
fair.
yeah, yeah. That's,
We want you to dance.
Last year was amazing.
Last year was amazing.
Yeah.
This year gonna be double amazing.
Okay.
So how many of you want to dance with him? See, already.
Don't show this to my wife.
All right, Bert. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here
Thank you.
once again.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.